This is the John Hallett Podcast with John Hallett.
Because the way we're living, we need to change it, make a change today, and all learn from failure. Maybe they just wanted it a little bit more than you. That's probably the fact.
And now your host, John Hallett.
All right, gang, I don't know. I like to say that a lot because, I can get better. I don't know. Iran, Israel, a lot of talk about World War III. Who knows? Gosh, I do not want any of that stuff to happen. Terrible. The world, the state of the world, that's where I think you just need to be prepared. You need to be doing something. I don't know. I'll bring in Josh because I feel like I'm looking at him. If you're on YouTube, give us a like, hit or subscribe. Even better.
Click on everything below.
Check out our suckless.co. Everybody needs some sort of supplement. That'll really help us out, help my daughter work her way through college. That is the cause. I know you got a lot of choice in supplements, but it's a good quality stuff at an affordable price. You can save even more on the subscribe and save. So check that out. That'll really support the podcast. And, let us do our thing and talk about martial arts, talk about the world.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the whole Iran, Israel, it is a complicated state of affairs.
To say the least. But now there's a world that we could face where suddenly there's two countries at war that start sucking everybody in, right? And how many times has history told us that once the dominoes start falling, everybody starts falling with it?
The world economy and everything else.
Oh my gosh.
Be prepared, be able to be well-rounded. That's, back on, I guess I didn't do a good intro. We're going to talk about misconceptions again because I talked a little bit of it. Seemed it got decent traction on YouTube. And it looked, we don't pay for the analytics because we don't have enough money for our
So join
audio.
our gym. Join our gym.
Start a subscription. But it seemed like misconceptions got some traction. I, kind of overviewed what we had talked about. You had yours coming in, and I think, so many people don't get it. They don't get Krav Maga. They don't even get Taekwondo. They come in and they get this superficial gloss over of I get it, I understand. And that's where I've said for you, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what drew me to Zen stuff. And, I'm just trying to understand what this is all about and trying to be happy. I think that's what we all want to do. I want to be safer and I want to be strong. It's a tough world when you look at your choices for martial arts, and I think people have misconceptions on everything. Krav Maga is my specialty, and what drew me to it, which people forget, and they get tied into, their brand of Krav Maga, their understanding of Krav Maga, of, oh, that's what it is. It's just this, and it's everything. It's what I was drawn to Bruce Lee, but there was no Bruce Lee stuff on Nantucket Island, and we were kind of making that. We had our group of guys, somebody did judo, somebody was a boxer, various other martial arts, especially when we're talking about way back, 25 years ago of what guys were mainly training in. It's morphed now in, just in the last 10 years. I mean, it changes of popularity even.
Do you think mixed martial arts being on TV ended up changing things, meaning that how people would look into things? Because my misconception for Krav Maga when I came in is I saw somebody on NCIS as a character.
Oh,
she knew Krav Maga,
yes.
and I remember my wife asking me, she's like, "Do you know what Krav Maga is?" And I'm like, "It's self-defense." I didn't know how to answer it, and that's how I ended up getting on the internet, and I found RMSDF. Right, I'm like, "There's a place that teaches it," and then I went for the free class, but I got it all from television and radio, right? And
people's understanding of the movie or
then they
whatever they started. Was it Jennifer Lopez? Was she in that? I think she was the one. I'm bad with celebrities' names, let alone regular people's names. And people had this, she trained in it. She trained at Krav Maga Worldwide. And it's just a little blip in the movie, a little bit of training of, I don't know. And again, it's the freaking movies.
Yeah. But that's the misconception they come in with. Like, I'll be able to, like, throw this person or break this thing.
I'm going to be invincible. And nobody's invincible.
Yeah, no matter how much crap you do, like, unless you train, it's just not available.
Yeah. Like, there's always I told my elementary school class not to be crazy last night. I'm like, don't be all like, wow, like now you're just like a monster. I'm like, here's the thing with monsters. There's always a bigger one. And like, it really rang with the kids. It was kind of funny because all the little kids were like, yeah, monsters. Yeah.
He's right.
Yeah. Because there's little monsters and there's big monsters. You could totally see them kind of picturing stuff in their head. I'm like, technique, guys. Let's just work, go slow, stop trying to muscle it and spaz out. And, just try to work through it and go slow. But yeah, you had some misconceptions walking in.
Yeah.
What were they?
Oh, I was always... Well, again, it came from television and radio. Like, it would be this thing that was so brutal it wins every time. Once you learn it, you know it, right? Because the person in the show would just knew Krav Maga, like, would stick with her, right? And that was the other thing.
Yeah, or they took it for like 6 weeks. Like, in the movie, like, you went to 6 lessons.
And they were, like, amazing. That's not reality. And the other one was, I thought I knew more than I did when I walked in the door. And then you're like, yeah, well, show me what you got. Well, I got nothing to show you. Right? I got nothing to show you. Right? And you saw it right away. You're sitting there going, all right, we'll work on him. We'll work on him. But that was it, thinking I knew more than I did. That's the biggest misconception. I'll be able to out there and be able to do something when I need to. I can barely do something when I need to after I train it. You know?
Yeah, that's like the movies add. It's such a disservice to people because they feel like they're going to go in, they're going to do some, and they're going to be awesome, and everybody pictures themselves as that superhero. The person in the movie, like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I got a couple classes, and I worked out once or twice. It's that, the clips. I was saying to you guys this morning that I love the sprinting in the Olympics. It's so impressive to me. Yeah. And they're really good all-around athletes. I forget one of the female sprinters, and they kind of profiled her, and they had her, I think her husband is ex-NFL. I don't think he's a current player, but they showed them working out. She's back squatting, she's doing kettlebell swings, she's doing some stuff, and they were a cute little couple, like they were doing a plank challenge with weights on, like, cool. And it was a good little setup, but people see that like, oh yeah, I'm gonna work out like that a couple times, and I'm going to be a sprinter. Yeah. Like, I mean, again, you're not even going to be mediocre after a couple workouts. Yeah. People think they're going to be invincible, and you're going to come in, you're going to lose. Yeah. Like, it's okay.
Yeah. The other one was not lose mentality, like, because I'll be embarrassed, or people will realize that I don't have any skill, or my ego gets in the way.
Yeah, people's ego. That's exactly like their ego gets in the way, and you're like, it's okay. Yeah, you don't have to be the best at everything, and everybody, is gonna lose at some point. Yeah, and you're not. I remember like a Krav Maga Worldwide instructor got knocked out in. I think he was just. I don't know if it was an MMA fight or a Thai boxing fight, and people, like, everybody can lose. Like, dude, you don't even know fighting. You're like, oh my god. Well, your idol got knocked out. Well, that's everybody can. I mean, I've said it. Instructors can get this. And I tell people, I'm just a man. Can lose. All of us can lose any given day.
I mean, even Conor McGregor loses, right? Pick the names in all of MMA. The top people, they'll all lose.
Yeah,
everybody can lose.
Now you're getting older, and
oh my gosh,
like we were just talking with Eric, that like, hey, the guy's 10 years younger than you. That's like a belt or two. Yeah. You might have more skill, but they're younger, faster reaction. Yeah, that's why you need to train. Yeah. Like, as I say on all the time, if you're not do something. Yeah, you're going to be a little bit better, but being well-rounded, working your striking skills, like people. Negate things because of sport all the time, and if you look at the UFC, look at the things that have taken out of the UFC. And I'm not saying jiu-jitsu's not phenomenal. If somebody's better than me, I'm going to lose if I'm just doing jiu-jitsu with them. But can I strike?
Yeah.
Am I legally justified to go to my weapon because what they're doing in this like real life scenario? And if it's just we're having a little competition, a little roll, I don't mind tapping out. You won, good job. But what we're talking about is out in the street, no rules. That's my life. That's what I'm trying to get people prepared for. And when you take out things out of a competition like the UFC, is that now favoring something?
Sure.
Is that favoring wrestling? Is that favoring BJJ when you take out headbutts?
Sure.
And all other things that somebody could do to you in the street, and then you stop thinking about them in your martial art, and then somebody does it to you on the street, and you're the deer in the headlights, and you get freaking run over. Well,
in the MMA's original inception, there were no like real rules. I think the only thing they didn't allow was biting, eye gouging, and small joint manipulation, right?
Yeah, I can't.
They had some crazy rules, but even then, they realized that stuff is so brutal, right, and so effective that it's better to take it out of the sport of MMA.
Yeah, and also they're not getting sanctioned in different states, and all this other stuff. All of this competition. Yeah. That's where I like Krav Maga. No rules. And what I signed up on. Now I'm going to forget the whole ad, but it was like no rituals, no rules, and something else. Yeah. I can't remember the rules. Now, train safe. And then people come to Krav Maga and they're like, oh, no. You don't gouge my eye out. Don't even slightly. You can think it. You can put the finger, the thumb there, and don't actually go for it. Yeah. It's like rolling with Eric when he texted me, do your eyes hurt? I was like, no, what are you talking about? And his eyes hurt because I was just pressuring, and he was cranking on me, but I'm not cranking on him. Yeah. I just had pressure there. I would have been going into the back of his skull with it. I would have popped his eyes out in the street way earlier when he was cranking.
That's eye-opening.
And again, like, we're not mad. Anybody can lose. Like, some people get all blah. I got into martial arts because I like all martial arts, and I just want to do stuff that works and gets me home. And that's what drew me to Krav Maga, and that's where Krav Maga will encompass everything, and people forget that. They're like, well, it's this, it's that. It's got to be something. Yeah. And it just drives me crazy the older I get.
Yeah.
That you don't understand. You've got your understanding, and it's wrong. We want to do whatever works. And I want to be able to go on the ground and do okay. Are you going to do well against somebody that's trained it their whole life? You're not going to do well against a freaking amazing striker. Right. There's always somebody that's super elite, and that's what people forget all the time. I love what John Whitman of Krav Maga Alliance, like my main instructor, always says, then it's an honor to die because they were a better warrior.
I remember you telling me that.
There's always somebody better.
Yeah.
And,
that's why you got to be trained and prepared for that moment it does show up. Because if they are better than you, then you gotta go. I mean, you gotta do your thing, right?
You gotta do something, and that's it's a huge misconception, not just with Krav Maga, but every martial art, that they think they're gonna hit the easy button, and you can escape everything. And as I tell our classes, but especially I was saying it to the kids last night, my teen boys. Can you guys answer the question? Like, guys, come on, it's me. You can talk to me. Come on. Nobody's engaging me. If you're in the street and a car comes and you're late, boys, what's going to happen? You're going to get run over. Come on, guys.
Right. Answer me.
You run over. Somebody's got you in a rear naked choke. It's over.
Yeah.
And people don't like that answer because they want to come in and like, no, I want to be invincible. I'm going to be the superhero and la la la. Like, no, that's not how it's going to be.
No, you're so far from the super. And the other piece is, I noticed a lot of other martial arts. and this is not an indictment on them. I'm just saying they can be very dogmatic with how they do things. Like, it has to happen this way for this reason, right? Yeah. And in Krav Maga, you kind of took that dogmatism, if that's the word for it, and you kind of throw it out of the way because you're like, does this work versus this? And I've seen you working that stuff out in your head. Like, you'll see two techniques happen on the floor, and I see you doing, like, the gear math, right? Like, is one, this is the way it's taught, but could it be taught this way, right? You've taken that dogmatic license and just, you throw it out. So you can adopt the things that work the best.
Yeah, it works for somebody else, or like, or hey, you might be open for that if you do this. But that's where, like, just playing around is so good. I mean, that was my entire class today, and especially I was talking to two of our instructors yesterday, and we just talked and worked through a couple things, but we really talked for an hour on creating drills and just having a discussion that way on how we were creating a drill. And I said, drilling, I love, like, that's my favorite thing, but you have to get people up to speed where you can just drill. Yeah. It's like, what did I do today? Like a little bit of, I think, everything. Defense from the ground. That, that, like, hey guys, slow touch sparring, all right, with clinch. And I don't know where I went from there, but, hey, I want you guys practicing attacks on the ground. Practice your Kimura. Practice some attacks. Yeah. And letting them just drill and just practice. I mean, they're not really drilling. They're really just getting reps. Yeah. Sometimes things would turn into a little bit. But, all right, guys, all your common attacks. All right, guys, work through all your gun threats. All right, guys, knife attacks. Let's spend a block on just working through and letting people work. I mean, I gave a few things here and there, but it was mainly just standing back and watching and seeing people get better, adding a little comment here or there, or just letting it go. Because let's get another 2 reps versus talking. Yeah. Where it's good, it's a balance of when to sure. Me, I don't want to talk.
And as a coach, you can't fine-tune everything all the time. Otherwise, you're spending your time just fine-tuning. You got to let them work it. And then as they're working it, then you drop those nuggets in there. Because I watch the way you coach, and I understand that you get a piece in there when they need the piece.
And sometimes they don't. Sometimes I don't even give it to them. Yeah. That I go, we're just getting reps. I could talk, but I talked about this, and we broke it down, and we reviewed it, and that, especially when you're talking about like the Peaceful Warrior people or Apex members, that they've been here a long time, or they're very serious about it. You just got to get some more reps. Yeah. Like I could say, hey, do this. I'll throw a reminder here and there. Maybe I've seen like a bunch. Yeah. Somebody didn't assess today, so I came up behind and like cut their throat with a knife. And went, hey,
and I'm like, oh, that's me.
But there was several other people, but because they're in our Citizen Defender program, I kind of got them after I saw just way too many. That was just little things here and there. Something glaringly wrong. Somebody was stepping wrong in two-handed cupping gun defense. Hey, do that. But a lot of it, things weren't right, and I'm just
rep it.
Get some more reps. It's just a review day. Get some more reps, and hey guys, go slow. Stop monstering everything so you're in there. All right. So what I want you to consider is just, what is your martial art all about? Yeah. You got to consider your wants and your needs when you're looking at a martial art. And people get the wrong idea on a lot of things, and what is your goal? Is it for the world turning upside down? Do you want to be prepared for that? Yes, no, yes. Maybe. I had a guy like, hey, I just I want to do it for fun.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
Come on in.
If it's fun for you, I've done other martial arts. I tried BJJ. Really wasn't my jam. Okay, well, maybe this will be.
Sure.
But I was like, what's your goal? Like, what are you looking to get out of it? You want to be better at self-defense? Like, what didn't you like about it? What?
I don't even think I can.
Because we're going to do ground stuff. I don't, we're doing stuff on the ground. Don't get some misconception that you're coming over here and it's all going to be entirely stand up or whatever is in your head. I'm like, we do everything. Just want to have some fun. Do it for my head.
Sure.
Mind body connection. Feel better, and I'm all for that. When I train, I'm not depressed. If I don't train, I get depressed and don't feel good.
I kept getting the itch while I wasn't training. I'd find myself starting to do my footwork. Tara's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, I'm working on my footwork. I can't do anything else." And she's like, "You look pretty dumb doing it." I'm like, "Well, I do.
Pretty dumb.
You do look pretty dumb.
That's why I like her. You look pretty dumb, Josh.
Yeah, I was like, that was the John answer that you gave me. But I couldn't answer that question the day I walked in the door. So why are you doing this? I want to get out more. I think that's what I told you.
House, yeah.
I just want to get out of the house. And you were like, great. Come on down.
Yeah, we'll get you out of the house. Do something.
But it's a hard question to answer. It's super hard.
Yeah, and it can change.
Yeah, right.
Some people get into the competition aspect of it, and it's great.
Yeah.
They like that. It's fun.
Yeah.
That's all well and good. I've tried to stay clear of that because that's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I know, somebody fighting you on the street is not going to be like the person in your gym.
Yeah.
We're crazy. Gee,
yeah.
I mean,
it's a different.
What are you
level.
preparing yourself for, and what do you want?
Yeah.
You got to be prepared for all aspects. That's just how good are you going to be with somebody coming at you with a knife?
Oof.
And
Oof.
again, they've got a plan, and that's why I love the shock knife, because it freaking hurts, and you'll see fear. Oh, wait a second. Oh, you were going to do this against somebody with a knife. Oh, but now they only have a shock knife. It's not. You're not gonna die.
Yeah. No, it just kind of gives you a little jolt. I mean, ooh.
But it changes, right? Now things have changed, and we're not even talking a live blade, and that's what drives me crazy about talking. Oh, let's talk about. I'm going to talk to you about what I'm going to do about when I have a knife, because my martial art, da 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 da. And man, unless you're facing that blade and seeing that and training different ways to help overcome that fear, and it's going to be different. I'm sorry, when you see that live blade, unless when you're training and you go, oh, okay, I'm doing knife. Oh, I was really freaking cut there. Versus, oh, I would do this, and maybe realize that whatever you're doing, empty hand, is going to be different when somebody's got a 3-inch blade in their hand, whatever size. They've got a big survival knife.
Even a
Man,
small knife,
that's adding some friggin' extension, man.
It's scary stuff. And talking to several high-end individuals, they're like, they watch people who have high belts, who've been training for years, who end up still losing to the knife because it's just so dangerous. And that's the point of the training, is that they've seen it a million times and they can still fail in those moments, right? And
we all can,
and that's why you stay vigilant. I don't know.
Yeah, keep your skills sharp.
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather at least have trained and failed than not have trained. Right, because at least I put the effort in trying to learn something, and I've got more tools in the toolbox now to go to. I mean, it's
better to have done something than nothing.
Yeah, right. And how many of us are nothing? Right, there's plenty of people that default to nothing because they don't know. Right, they don't even know they don't know.
Yeah, or they just I don't know.
It's kind of weird.
Stay on their butt. It's easy being fat and lazy. They'll just keep being fat and lazy.
Remember,
or skinny and weak and lazy. Doesn't matter.
Right.
You're skinny and you got nothing just because you have this body type that's skinny, and maybe you eat a whole bunch of crap. And you're still not healthy. People, I don't know, it's the easy route.
The path of least resistance, and that's what everybody's looking. That's all you'll ever get out of some people, So the time that you do have that you want to make better, and you make that choice that you want to go train, you got to jump on that. You've got to come in and you've got to do it, because you'll just follow that path of least resistance your whole life. So when that spark happens, start the fire. Get in.
Yeah,
Train. Go to our website, rmsdf.com. Find it.
Yeah, go to our ClearSky.Training, do stuff online.
Yeah.
Look at stuff, train with the friends. But yeah, people look for, we've got base 4 in our fitness side for Project Fit, and people hate it.
It's only going to last a while. Then you're moving on to base 1, right?
Scale it.
Yeah.
Is it too much for you? Yeah, we'll tell people, okay, let's scale the reps a little bit. Scale the running. But people just avoid, and it's one thing if something hurts, I'm not saying, do not hurt yourself or don't overdo it. There's sometimes I'm like, that's way too many reps.
Yeah.
I am going hiking. I am doing this. Or, hey, we're going to a concert tonight, or whatever. We're meeting friends out. Maybe I'm going, all right, let's do something extremely hard. I'm going to be on the couch for the next 2 days.
Yeah.
And I'm not leaving the house, and I don't want to be totally wrecked. But somebody's like, yeah, you overdid it. Now you're wrecked for a week. And what if something happens that week? It's like, you need to do some hard workouts and put yourself through those challenges. But it's amazing how many people just avoid it. I'm like, okay, it seems like maybe take that challenge. Maybe feel a little bit better about yourself versus going, I don't want to do 50 burpees. I'm like, it's 50 burpees. It's not 365.
Right.
Try 365 for the new year. Kick it off right.
I remember during my yellow belt test, he's like, all right, end the thing with 100 burpees. And I was like, it's time to do 100 burpees. You just do it.
Who was that? Who made you do 100 burpees?
Jordy.
Jordy.
At the end, yeah. Do 100 burpees. Go. That's how we're closing it out. And we did. I was exhausted. It was totally worth it. But the other misconception I had when I came in is that I had to match what the people around me were doing. So if I went and worked out, I had to grab that heaviest weight.
Oh, yeah.
I had to be able to keep up with the guy on the floor.
Well, girls are pretty bad,
But that was me, right? And that's a huge misconception. I don't need to be where they're at. I will never be where they're at when I walk in the door, right? I'm just not there.
Yeah.
It's just, I learned, I just got to keep showing up. And most of those people are going to support you, right? Because they know.
Yeah, people are, a nice gym. Yeah, you can't get in there. And even some people, I'm always on coaches of, yeah, they can do it. And they were in your class and they did it. But you as the coach have to tell them. And do half. Let's just do half. Like, look, I know you can do it.
Yeah.
I know you could do this. But what the smart thing is for you to do is let's do half of the reps or 3/4 of the reps.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be wrecked for a week or more because you did it. Like, people can, that mindset, like, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to try to keep up with everybody else that's in this class. I know the smart thing for the coach to do is do this. Now, are you going to tackle somebody? You're like, no, don't do it. People are hard to deal with, right?
Sure.
Like, oh, I can do it. I've been working out. You're like, okay, I've been doing some stuff, and I'm taking your word for it, but I don't want you to be wrecked.
Yeah.
And hopefully that they recognize that you as the coach were saying when they're super sore, we're saying, don't do it. It's not a good idea. I kind of tell people, hey, from personal experience, I've thought I've gone easy on myself after an injury, and then I'm freaking super sore, and I thought I went easy on myself. Yeah. So it is just getting started.
Yeah.
So and being prepared, being prepped. Yeah. Tucker Carlson's talking to his neighbor, talking about prepping.
Yeah, it used to be like I'm a prepper, and everyone's like, oh, you're one of those crazy people. And now that the world starts to get a little bit crazier, you're like, wow, those prepper people are pretty smart.
Yeah, get out there, be prepared. Our angle is self-defense, and have that under your belt. Have some firearm skills, and it's not just going to the freaking range and shooting at a paper target, guys. God, it is so old. It is so outdated. You got to get in, check out our Citizen Defender program. If you're out across the country, check out Todd Fossey. It's so much more. But people just get that, again, it's so outdated of what people are training in. I just was telling a new guy, I was like, hey, we have this. He's like, oh, I have my CCW. I'm like, well, great, because this is the next step after it, because you can just get your permit and suck really bad with that
You don't
freaking
even
gun and
know you
everything else. Like, the gun does not solve your freaking problems.
It does not.
But people think, I have a gun. And, whoa, geez, did you use it in the wrong
Do you even know how to
situation?
hold it? Do you even know how to draw
I don't even
it?
care about that. I don't even give a shit about that. I don't even give a shit about hold it fucking gangster style. For all I care, like, you don't even know when to draw it. Like,
Yeah.
not even like
Oh, yeah.
that. You don't even have the intermediate skills of transitioning to your gun.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're just going to draw the gun because that's your only thing. And you're just at the range, and you're always going to be like on
Yeah.
top of somebody.
And if you lose
And
the
you're going to
gun,
be
you're in
ahead,
trouble.
and you're going to have time on your side and distance on your side. What happens when you don't?
Yeah, that's
Like,
often.
I told this guy, I've been looking for years for something like what Todd Fossey does in our Citizen Defender program. It just took me a long time to get there. So, all right, I don't know what's going on, but I think it's getting close to our class time here. All right, guys, if you made it this far, we appreciate it. Check out suckless.co for all your supplements. It'll help you out, help out our channel. All right, guys, be safe, train more, and suck less, guys. All right, we're out of here. Maybe. I can't find the button.